These so-called Bengals fans, I use that term loosely, are in such denial and such, they're so new, I want to say, to the wagon that they seem to forget how bad it used to be. I look online and I see all these people talking about, oh my God, Joe Burrow played so terrible. Oh my God, oh God, we're doomed. We're all this independent doom. Need I remind you guys that 2 years ago, the Cincinnati Bengals were literally the worst team in the NFL. They started 0-11. We still had Andy Dalton, and it didn't look like we were going to win a game. We go from that to 2 years later to a Super Bowl appearance, and we won a playoff game for the first time in 3 decades, and we got it rough. It's one freaking game, people. It's one game. It don't mean shit. Who cares? He had a bad game. Who gives a shit? And you know what? If he does have a bad year, it happens. I'm okay with that. I mean, oh my God, man. I'm telling you. This is how you know that you can tell the real football fans from the fake, or whatever you call it, fair weather fans or fake fans, whatever. Because if you really are going to sit here and ridicule Joe Burrow after everything he's done, not only has he done what he's done, he came off a freaking ACL tear. Do you have any idea how serious that is? Anybody who's played football, anybody who's been a quarterback, ask Carson Palmer. Ask Carson Palmer what it did his career, because an argument could be made. He's never been right since then. He never was right after that. But come on. We were in such worse shape. How many games did we have like this with Andy Dalton? I couldn't tell you how many times every time I turned the freaking TV on and see Andy Dalton play, I'd be biting my nails down to where they started bleeding. Because I knew it was inevitable. I knew somehow, some way, he was going to frick everything up for us. And guess what? He did. He folded every single time. Every single time the pressure was on, he folded. Every time. I mean, I'll give Carson Palmer a pass because I really think if he wouldn't have gotten injured that year, he could have done a lot with us. But I mean, it's like, people, just relax. It's one game. He had a bad game. So freaking what? It happens. If anything. So, and as far as Pittsburgh winning, well, yeah, anybody can freaking beat a team that turns the ball over 4, 5, 6 times. And it took you overtime to beat us by 3 points? I mean, really? So, when I hear these Steeler fans coming on saying, oh, we're back, come on. The only reason you won is because Joe Burrow had the worst game of his career that he'll probably never have again. Big deal. And he won by 3 points. So, anyway, I'm not worried about it at all. You can't, fellow Bengal fans, the true Bengal fans, not the fake ones that just showed up last year, because, Joe's cool or whatever, whatever that bullshit is going on. Listen, here's what I care about. The guy came to Cincinnati. The guy has turned this franchise around and actually made us a threat and a factor. And we're going to ridicule him because he has one bad game. And you know what? Even if he does have one bad year, like I said, who cares? Who gives a shit? It happens. Do you know, like I said, how many bad years did we have with Andy Dalton? How many bad years did we have with Carson Palmer? I could go on and on forever, baby. Jeff Blake, freaking Gus Frerotte, John Kitna, let's talk about the ones that JT O'Sullivan, Ryan Fitzpatrick at one point. Really? And yet, how about Akili Smith? Probably, if it wasn't for Ryan Leaf, probably the biggest bust in NFL history. You'd rather go back to them days? No thanks. So, I just had to get this off my chest. I see all these so-called fans complaining because, I mean, it's not just, it takes some time. Do you have any idea how bad Kansas City was before Patrick Mahomes came to town? They were with Matt Castle and Tyler Thigpen, if you remember. Any real Chiefs fan would know that. How about Seattle before Russell Wilson came? They had Charlie Whitehurst and Tavares Jackson, rest in peace. But I'm just saying, ask any team. There's so many teams that have been in the same boat. Not to mention, how many teams do you think would rather trade with us right now? Ask how many Jets fans would rather have Joe Burrow. How many Jaguar fans do you think would rather have Joe Burrow? How many Lions fans do you think would rather be in our situation? Come on. And no offense to if that's your favorite team. I'm just saying. You guys know pain is my point. So, listen, as a Bengals fan, I've been a Bengals fan for years. I've been through all of it. And if this is the worst Joe Burrow does is have one bad game, I mean, the guy came off a freaking ACL tear to a Super Bowl appearance. The Cincinnati Bengals, the laughing stock of the NFL. We hadn't won a playoff game in 30-something years. 31, 32 years, whatever it was. Marvin Lewis couldn't get it done. He was 0-7 in the playoffs. 0-7, couldn't win one. We go from that to a Super Bowl appearance, and now everybody wants to cry and say how worse shape we're in. It was one bad game. We can recover. And like I said, even if it is a mediocre year, I'll take a mediocre year with Joe Burrow over any year before that. You guys need to stick on the wagon, and you guys have been around this channel since I started. I've stuck behind this team when they did not deserve it. When I wanted to get rid of Andy Dalton because I knew he wasn't the future, I kept saying, the guy ain't the future, the guy ain't the future, the guy ain't the future. He's going to get us to the dance, but that's all he's going to do. You can't expect nothing more out of him than that. That's what he is. He's a good backup. That's what he is. And everybody kept saying, no, no, no. How about Marvin Lewis? Fire Marvin Lewis. Fire Marvin Lewis. Fire Marvin Lewis. Nobody would do it. Guess what? We finally got all this done, and we had one bad year to show for it. And then the following year, we went to the Super Bowl. And now all of a sudden, Joe Burrow has one bad game, and everybody wants to ridicule the man? I mean, crap. You can't win with this fan base. You just can't win with this fan base. When they're terrible, they bitch, and when they're winning, they bitch. Not me. I'm the true Bengals fan. I'm the taxi guy. I'm the Bengals fan. Most of you guys probably didn't know what the Bengals were until I came to YouTube. I don't know. I'm probably not that famous, but I'm just saying. Ask anybody that has known me for generations. Or a couple generations, rather. But I've been a Bengals fan forever. I mean, last year was the best time that I have ever had as a football fan. Even though we didn't win the Super Bowl. But you know what? If you're ridiculing Joe Burrow, shame on you, honestly. And like I said, if he has a mediocre year, whatever, it happens. We're in way better shape than what we were. That's my point being. So either stay on the wagon or get off.